Hello, everybody. Josh Brown here, back for another great episode on Franchise Euphoria. Well, today's episode is brought to you by IndieFranchiseLaw.com, a leading resource in the franchise space to help you if you're considering buying a franchise, turning your business into a franchise, or growing your business through a licensing or franchise structure. So go on, check it out, IndieFranchiseLaw.com. I think you'll find a lot of valuable and free information as you continue to kind of weigh franchising and licensing and the growth of your business. Without further ado, I hope you enjoy today's episode. So on today's episode of Franchise Euphoria, we have Jamie Izaks, who's the founder and president of All Points Public Relations. The agency has an international clientele base with a focused niche on the franchise industry, and its client base spans multiple verticals, including restaurants, retail, healthcare, tech, education, lifestyle. All Points PR integrates its work across media relations, social media, content marketing, and digital marketing, spanning earned, owned, and paid media. I think you'll find in this interview with Jamie that his company, All Points PR, does a really good job of identifying and working with emerging franchisor concepts, which I think will speak to a lot of you, as one of the biggest issues that I get asked about is how to grow and market a franchise. So I think you'll learn a lot from this interview with Jamie. Enjoy. Hi, Jamie. Welcome to Franchise Euphoria. How you doing?
Really good, Josh. Thanks so much for bringing me on.
Well, I'm thrilled to have you on. I love the idea that you're, the founder and president of All Points Public Relations, company that works directly with franchise systems to help them grow their systems. And you and I have had a chance to talk offline before, and I think I've told you that in the franchise world, there's a lot of people who do this kind of work. There's not a lot of people that do it well. And so I'm happy to talk to somebody who's part of an organization that I believe does it well. And before we dive into some of those details, tell us a little bit about your background.
Sure. Well, again, thanks for having me on. And, it means a lot to be talking to an attorney that has also built a great reputation. So, we seem to be like-minded in that regard. My background as a public relations professional / media professional goes back 20 years now. I, too, cut my teeth in the Hoosier State, went to Indiana University.
I love that.
Yep, I'm a Hoosier. And then started working in television journalism as a television reporter, producer, anchor. Started that in Terre Haute. And yes, I lived in Terre Haute.
God bless you.
Yeah, someone had to. And from there, went and again, kind of took one for the team and went and took a job in television in Fairbanks, Alaska. And that had a lot of character building moments throughout my 2 years there. And then I actually left my original job in Terre Haute in a really good scenario. And so I was invited back to Terre Haute. And I took that position with the same company, but a different job doing sports reporting and anchoring back in Terre Haute in a more prominent position. Then moved on to Chicago, where I worked at Fox Sports in Chicago and produced and reported for Fox Sportsnet. And then in a series of decisions, kind of made the call to get my MBA and switch paths a bit and kind of take everything I've learned from the media side of it, from my education side. After about 5 years and on the media side, went to work on the public relations side and really got my first taste of franchising when I joined Hyatt Hotels Corporation, the corporate headquarters in Chicago, in the PR department. So I was earning my MBA, working at Hyatt, and had a great run there at Hyatt for about 5 years. Joined an agency that kind of built on my franchising experience with Hyatt, and joined an agency that specialized in franchising. Again, built a wonderful, kind of continuation of my career there. I really enjoyed my time at Hyatt, enjoyed my time at the agency, and felt like from being in the media, earning the MBA, being on the agency, and of course being on the client side, gave me a really good opportunity to start All Points Public Relations, which is really about seeing the industry from all points and our ability to work from all points because of that perspective that we have. So that started in 2011, and here we are in 2019. We're going to celebrate our 8th year in anniversary in August, and we've really, built a wonderful team. I partner in business and in life with my wife. wife. So my wife, Lauren, is a 50-50 partner in the business, and we run this puppy together. And we've got a team of about 23 people here in Chicagoland, and we love what we do. And we specialize in franchising and absolutely love the industry, love the entrepreneurial spirit, love the energy and what it means to be part of the industry. So all that said, we're entrenched in franchising. We're entrenched in the IFA, the International Franchise Association, in several ways, and really have built our reputation as a go-to partner in integrated PR facet, where we do a lot of our clients' public relations work, social media, content creation, and various other forms of digital marketing too.
Well, and so did you guys start All Points PR with the idea that you were going to focus on franchise businesses, or did you come to that after the first year or so?
Actually, that was the intention. As you know, as someone who's built a practice, I mean, sometimes you have to step outside your focus to kind of get things going and to have a book of business, so to speak. So initially, we did have franchise clients right out of the get-go, but had to, certainly diversify for a couple years there with a couple clients here and there that were outside of it. But right now, we are 100% in franchising, and that was the goal from the beginning.
Well, so there's lots of, as I mentioned at the outset, there's lots of companies out there that want to do marketing, they want to do PR, they want to, as I sometimes say, they want to get their claws into a franchise business, and they do it in a lot of different ways. Obviously, with your company being a PR company, but also a marketing company, talk about that from the perspective of the type of services that you guys provide for your franchisor clients.
Well, just about every one of our clients wants to utilize us for supporting their franchise development growth. Every one of our clients, has that intention of growing their business through franchising. So they're eager to bring on more franchisees. We put programs into place to illuminate the franchise opportunity, to target based on behaviors, demographics, geography. So we put our practice to work in helping target a specific franchisee prospect that our clients are focused on. So that happens typically through earning press, through creating dynamic social media programs, content programs, and often various forms of paid digital media too. And that's really kind of the focus on the franchise development side. But on the consumer side, we're just as proficient in helping our clients market their brand for the products and services that they offer, as well as supporting their franchisees to do the exact same. We really work both sides of our clients' businesses, the franchise sales and the consumer side, or the B2B side. We work B2B, B2C brands, and then support franchise development.
And you're working in different verticals, restaurants, retail, healthcare, tech, education, those sorts of verticals within the franchise space.
I love franchising. That's the bottom line is I love the business model. I love the entrepreneurial spirit. And I really love our networking partners. I love the supplier folks in franchising too. So the brands can be great. The camaraderie among suppliers is fantastic. That carries over into just about any vertical, because they're embodying this spirit of franchising that we adore. And so as we get into different verticals, we have tons of different types of clients. Everything from the restaurant space, which is probably about 40 to 45% of our clients at the moment, to fitness, healthcare, education, other B2B services like technology support, sales programs. We work with Dale Carnegie, the famed sales training program. So we have, all types of clients that we've worked with in the past and that we work with currently that, really keep it exciting for us. They give us the opportunity to learn and grow as individuals because we learn all these new industries. You have to be able to communicate about these industries effectively. So I love that we can hit a bunch of different verticals, but understand the secret recipe of making it work in franchising.
So, if you don't mind, let me walk through a scenario here that's not too uncommon, frankly. And that is, a new franchisor approaches you, right? And basically says, Jamie, I need to find better prospects for my franchise system. At the same time, I need to increase my brand awareness and I need to get out there more. And so it's sort of like, you're working both. It's not both sides of it because it's all for the same good, but it's the PR and it's the marketing side all at the same time. What is sort of the process that you take, a franchise or company through at the outset? I got to imagine there's a process for you and your team to basically first, diagnose where they're at, what they're having issues with, how they can move forward, and then putting them into, I don't know if you have a set program or how you work with your various clients. I think that'd be instructive if you don't mind going into that a little bit in terms of how your company works with its franchise clients.
There's a term in franchising that's common across all brands, and it relates to their kind of onboarding of franchisees, and it's called Discovery Day, right? You've heard of Discovery Day. It's when franchisees come in, they learn about what the franchise model is all about, and the franchisor has an opportunity to kind of sing from the hilltops about its brand. We launch our clients with a discovery meeting or a discovery call, and it's in depth. I mean, it does take 2-3 hours, or we're visiting our clients in their home offices and really go and kind of pepper them with a series of questions that allows us to become experts, so to speak, as much as we need to be on from a public relations standpoint. We wear several hats as PR professionals. We talk about this a lot. We wear the hat of a reporter, right? We have to think like a reporter. We have to think like our clients. So we wear the hat of a reporter, we wear the hat of our clients, we wear the hat of PR professionals, and then I say we wear the hat of an investigator. We have to be kind of an investigative reporter or an investigator to go in and kind of uncover these stories, how we get great press, how we tell great storytelling through social media, how we write great articles in terms of content creation for their websites or for email marketing. So we really go about it in a comprehensive standpoint to dig into our clients, to understand the storylines. And beyond that, we have to really understand their organization as well. One of the questions that we talk about, not just a question, but one of the things we train on here is understanding the true intent of our brands, of our clients, especially the decision maker. We have to understand who these people are and where they come from, and that in most cases, their intentions are well beyond the product and service that they are offering or the brand that they have started, right? They all have motives, and what might that motive be to grow their business? Maybe it's to build an enterprise for their families over the long haul, right? Like maybe it's a long-term investment to build an enterprise for their family. Maybe they have a vendetta against their parents. Who knows? I mean, we really have to understand the intentions of our clients to be able to meet what they want out of their business. And so it's not just understanding, kind of doing that diagnosis of the brand and what can we do for it, but it's really getting to the psychological part of our clients and making sure that we meet them at that point also. So that's really a critical moment for us to understanding how we best support our clients.
Is this something where you after you go through a discovery phase with them, that you at that point make a recommendation on, okay, let's work together for 6 months and here's our objectives? Or how do you structure the relationship in terms of working with your franchise clients?
Yeah, I mean, that's a typical kind of setup. We typically will do that before we have that discovery call. We'll understand what the formalities are of working together. And yeah, we do like to launch things with a 6-month agreement, just because public relations isn't like you flip a switch on like other forms of marketing where, you kind of run the ad runs exactly how you want it, where you want it to run, and it has a definitive start and stop time. PR has several factors that could determine when and if coverage runs. Typically, it's going to be much more credible than an advertisement. It's a third-party endorsement, usually from a reliable media entity. There's that component of it. The social media component is very much the same, right? You have to earn a following. You have to create a storyline. And then so is other forms of the marketing that we do, like content marketing, which typically is done through storytelling, blogging, and emailing. All that stuff takes time to develop.
Yeah. And well, let me interrupt you there because I totally agree with that. I mean, I have conversations with, as you can imagine with my clients, they'll come to me and say, hey, I'm talking to such and such company. What do you think? And so I'll give sort of my opinion on it. And one thing I know is, even with my own practice in terms of me building up, this podcast or anything that I'm doing, it takes time to do that. This stuff doesn't happen overnight. And, most of the time you're rewarded with longevity, by Google and by the SEO and through content marketing. So, I think people have a misnomer, and I always like to shred it. And that is, let's put together one 600-word blog and then not blog for the next 6 months. And you might as well not have even done that first one, right? I mean, the idea is you want to be putting together good, consistent, focused content continuously for a period of time before you're going to see any traction.
Right. I mean, once you build the house, you have to maintain the house, right? So like all that press, all the content that you create, and anything that you do after you kind of build your house, which could be your website, it could be your brand in other forms. Once you build that house, it's critical to maintain it, right? The maintenance on it. And that's really just that ongoing marketing.
Well, so tell me, because you've obviously seen a lot of franchise systems, worked with a lot of franchisors. What's a piece of advice that you would give, obviously from the outside looking in, that might help, a new or emerging franchisor come either better prepared or put themselves in a better position to brand themselves or get the kind of PR that they're looking for or do the kind of marketing that's really going to make them stick out?
Well, number one, make sure the infrastructure is in place to support it, because it's not so much being concerned about, are we set up to do PR? Are we set up to do marketing? Because you can find that, and you can find very talented marketers out there. There is no doubt about it, that can make noise out of just about anything. But once that noise happens in a very, let's say, strategic way, let's say you have a wonderful marketing program going and tension is being shed on your business through some form of marketing or PR, are you set up to manage that in a way that you get the most out of it, right? It's really important that you maximize your marketing dollars once it gets to work for you, that you're able to manage that in the right way. And typically for franchising, that's going to be converting them to a true franchise lead. So is the infrastructure in place is really the biggest thing that I would talk about when it comes to being prepared. It's not so much, are you set up to market as much as are you set up to do something with that marketing? Because, we work with all kinds of colorful and uncolorful brands. Some that are pretty bland, but have the infrastructure in place to do something with the marketing, and they're growing very effectively. And then we have others that are the most colorful, consumer, friendly brands, but they just cannot get that infrastructure in place to support where they're going. So that's the type of stuff that we look for, and making sure that, we have clients that have that process and system in place to do something with our marketing. And typically that's a franchise development team infrastructure in place to vet and to and then convert.
Well, it's key. You can have great marketing. You can have people knocking on your door, but they're going to be considering other brands as well. And so how that franchisor system is set up with their development team and how they respond makes all the difference in the world. And that's something that you, through your company, can't control, right? You can get people to come knock on their door, but you aren't there when they open the door, right? It's what kind of impression are you getting? What kind of team is in place? And I can tell you from experience, just as I'm sure you can, that when somebody's considering one franchise, they're usually considering between 3 to 5, and they're looking at those details to differentiate between which system they think is run better. So I think that's really good advice, because, people always just tend to focus on, hey, I just need people to call and all my problems will be solved. And then unfortunately, what I see a lot of is the phone starts to ring or people start getting inquiries, but they don't respond in an appropriate or professional way. And that sends people packing. They're not interested at that point.
Right. There's a little bit of that. There's also what other elements are at play for you as a brand. Maybe you don't have the infrastructure completely in place, but do you have satisfied franchisees, right? Can you at least count on that? These are all the things that we need to look at to make sure that our marketing is going to work in the right way, right? Is the infrastructure in place? Is there franchisee satisfaction in place, for folks to validate the concept when franchise leads come in? And is there a commitment and a patience level that not that, you shouldn't have high expectations, but and you should have measurable metrics to judge our work, that we help kind of identify how to judge our work and what's working and what's not. But, is there patience and budget? Is the infrastructure there? And do you have a collection of franchisees that can validate your concept well?
Well, I think that's all great stuff. Thank you so much, Jamie, for coming on and sharing a little bit of your insight. If somebody's interested in learning more about All Points PR or getting a hold of you or somebody at your company, what's the best route for them to go?
Well, certainly head to our website, allpointspr.com is a great place to connect. So that's just www.allpointspr.com. I'm active on LinkedIn, and always connect with me on LinkedIn. And then we have a wonderful brand social media team also, where you can connect with us too through Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So we're all over that. And I am also at many of the franchise conferences. I'll be at the International Franchise Association conference. It may have already happened by the time this airs. I'm not sure when you're hearing this, Josh.
Yeah, I think it'll probably already happen, but will you be running around with like some costume on or something? Or
No, I won't.
Okay.
But, I'll be at others down the road. I go to the majority of them, or we have another presence at them. So, plan to see us, and always, welcome a phone call too. So you can find that on the website too.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jamie. I really appreciate it. I look forward to staying in touch with you.
Fantastic, Josh. Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of Franchise Euphoria. If you enjoyed this episode or have enjoyed the podcast in general, I would really appreciate it if you could go to iTunes and leave me a rating and review. It really helps to get this podcast out to more and more people. So the easy way to do it is go to iTunes and in the search box, put in Franchise Euphoria. You will then see my cover art and you click on my smiling face that says Franchise Euphoria and then click on the link that says ratings and reviews. It's that simple, but boy, oh boy, does it mean the world to me when people leave ratings and reviews. And like I said, it really helps get the show out there. Once again, would love it if you would go to iTunes and leave a rating and review if you enjoyed this episode or other episodes of the show. And until the next time, happy franchising.